good Wednesday afternoon, folks. I'm Todd Cartner, your host, and welcome to Myrtle Beach Living Live. This week, we are excited to have with us Dylan Shinholser, who is with a company called ViewStub, and we'll be talking to him in just a second. But remember, if you're looking for anything that has to do with entertainment, dining, local businesses, or of course, my favorite real estate, right here in Myrtle Beach, you're at the right spot. And here's the episode 24 this week. So we're doing well, and we're going to get Dylan on here in just a second. And I believe he's in here.
I'm here.
Come on, Dylan. There you go. Hey, Dylan.
I'm here. How are you, sir?
We're great. Thank you for joining us. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties today. For some reason, we're freezing up, but it's not to stop Dana Benz from saying hello. Welcome to the show, Dana. We appreciate you joining us. I know you know Dylan and myself probably too much by now, but anyway, thank you for joining us, Dana.
She always sees my name in her Facebook group every other.
Yeah, me too. And so she's saying, "What's up, Dylan?" So I guess she's your fan, not mine.
Hey, well, I mean,
Just Dana,
you're way cooler than I am. I can promise you that.
I don't know. I like your. Well, look, we've even got Kelsey in here now. So
we got Kelsey, the whole family.
Dana's sister's just. Well, I know Mom. I missed Mom last night on y'all's show, Dana and Kelsey. I was hoping that she would be on there as well, so we had the whole Benz plan. But anyway, so thank you guys for joining us, and thank you, Dylan, for being on the show today. So tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, family, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have a pretty easy, simple story. My name's Dylan. I grew up in Williamsburg, Virginia, live in Richmond, Virginia now, if I can talk today. And I've just been, plugging along here in the entrepreneurship world for the last 8 to 9 years, just trying to do what I can. I spent years in the marketing world, branding. I actually worked with, 500 plus real estate agents. That's what I did for a few years, was just marketing and branding for folks just like yourself. And then pivoted that into an event background. So now I own an event management company. Prior to COVID, I owned an event venue. Obviously not the world's best year for one of those. And then as we're going to talk on today, I'm also director of business development for a company called ViewStub. So really my day in and day out now, pre-COVID, post-COVID, during COVID, is just events. And
that's awesome. I mean, I know you know this, but I've also put on several events myself. I don't know if you're familiar with the Scottish Highland Games, where they throw the big telephone poles.
Yeah.
I started that down here in Myrtle Beach, and our last year that I was involved, we had 30 or 34,000 people from 26 states and 5 countries that joined us. So
that's super cool. Yeah, that's super cool. I like those little interesting offbeat events. Yeah, it is. They're just always more fun.
And they've actually started following. We've got tons of them all over the country, which is pretty cool. So let's talk about live streaming. How long have you been doing live streaming? And kind of get.
Yeah, I mean, live streaming for me is I've always personally have spent my life in the shadows. But when I was working with realtors, when I was working with businesses and brands on marketing and branding, I understood that a live component anywhere created real-time engagement. And that's what I really need when you're on social media platforms or anything like that. That's why I like events. It's real-time engagement. And so with live streaming, I've been preaching and doing live streaming myself for the past 5 or 6 years, whether or not it be on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, anything like that. Just focused on understanding how important it is to, create real-time engagement. And just something I always like to add on when I talk about live streaming is really the idea of these social media platforms. When you're putting out content, it's the platforms are built off engagement. And so I've been focused on live streaming for years, because live streaming is one of the only avenues on social media that I can create real-time engagement. And if I can create real-time engagement, engagement equals reach. So more people actually get to see my content, because we all know these algorithms just hate us. So these algorithms are built off engagement. So I've been live streaming for years, and then pivoted that a year and a half ago. I was looking for how to live stream my events. I was looking for ways to expand the event itself. How can I create more reach? How can I add to the bottom line? And streaming was the way I did that. And then, of course, now that's all we do at ViewStub. So I would say for the last 5 or 6 years, live streaming has been a major component in everything I really do.
And it's funny, I think that churches have gotten really good at doing that. You're going to see churches live stream their services, and that's kind of neat. So you mentioned it just a moment ago about this company called ViewStub, and I know that it does a lot of stuff. It allows the creators to really have a lot of tools to their fingertips. So tell us about ViewStub, what it does, and I got involved with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my quick backstory was I was actually a user of the product last year when, like I said, I was looking for my clients. I was looking for ways to expand my clients' events. Happened to come across ViewStub. Just connected with one of the founders because we were from the same state, and then just used them a couple times for a couple different events. And then, honestly, when COVID hit, owning an event management company and a venue, I got bored very quick. With being someone who was supposed to be traveling all year, had to cancel 25 plus events. And so I was just, to be honest, I was bored. So I called up my buddy who was the founder, and I was like, hey man, I'm coming to work tomorrow. And just been running with them since. So, ViewStub at its core is a streaming platform for live events, whether or not that be in-person events and you're streaming it and going hybrid, or obviously this year it's all virtual. But at the end of the day, what we do is stream live events. And then we give all types of tools and features to support organizers, from monetization, ticketing, in-person ticketing, virtual ticketing, sponsorship, merch, all that good stuff, all the way to marketing and promotion, of course. And then most importantly is streaming technology and video hosting. So we really are an all-in-one solution for streaming live events and monetizing those, more importantly, because that's really why I look to do it and why I help people do it, is to increase their reach and increase their bottom line. So ViewStub's a very, very simple platform to be able to do that.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that, because I was actually having a conversation with one of the athletic directors at a local high school, and they limited the amount of spectators that could come to the football game, but they still play the football games. So that would be a great avenue for the school to go into and have and use something like ViewStub to where they can still sell tickets and stream the game live. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, in sports is something that we work a lot with. And the term that is kind of in the industry right now is going hybrid. So an in-person event mixed with a virtual component. It's really, hybrid events are not new. Anytime you've ever watched a football game on the NFL, the NHL, the Super Bowl, those are hybrid events, right? But yeah, 100% high schools where this year and next year, where it doesn't matter what it is, your venue has a diminished capacity. You're going to have to figure out how to supplement some of that revenue. And the best way to do that is to be able to stream your events online. And then even in a non-pandemic world, your venue, you still have limitations. Doesn't matter if it's a 10-person venue up to 100,000 person stadium. You still have limits, and you still want to be able to create more reach by your event. And the best way to do that is to go online, where we all know there's no reach or there's no limits. So being able to stream your event online is just, it's something that, high schools, we're working with a lot of them right now, colleges, leagues, soccer teams, all that. It's an amazing tool for that.
And not only is ViewStub, but so is any live streaming, such as the platform that we use here, StreamYard. So anyone can connect from anywhere in the world that have access. So you can even have grandparents that are interested in watching their grandchild performance or participate in a sport and be 5 or 6 states away. So that's it's a great tool.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So with COVID, the way it's hit us in 2020, and so much more live streaming shows coming up. I know Dana and Kelsey each have a couple shows that they do. I know that you and I talked backstage about you guys want to show with ViewStub, which is awesome. And with my show, how can someone use ViewStub to incorporate it into a talk show, even just like me? I know we mentioned some of the things, but just a talk show like me, where I really don't have an event that we're selling tickets to, but how could someone use ViewStub for a show like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the day, we focus on events, but a lot of our clients are just straight up content creators. One off the top of my head, he just literally does basically a video podcast every week, and he uses our donation ticket access or a donation access in exchange for that content. So he really went pay-per-view with his content. Right. And so that starts at the beginning of building a brand and a following. But once you get to that level, you can start to look at alternative ways to monetize this show. Right. You've probably done it with sponsors and things like that. But now you can also monetize it by leveraging upfront access right to your attendees and going pay-per-view with it. So, I mean, that's one really good way. But also, if you were looking for ways to be able to gather data, right? For me, if you're, going open source, right, on platforms like YouTube and Facebook and things like that, they're great. However, you're not collecting any data. So you're just kind of spitting it out there and people are watching, maybe commenting, but you don't gather anything, right? And at the end of the day, all of us thrive on data. So if you can have a platform that allows you to collect registrations and also stream that, well, now you're collecting that data, which then you can do whatever you need to with, right? You can retarget it, resell to it. And so, I mean, that's a lot of why people are using our platform. One is to bring their content behind a paywall, whether it's an event or not. Content is content online. And then also just ways to be able to collect that data as well.
Yeah. And that's a great tool that so many people are starting to do, especially with that retargeting, because once you start getting into people's feeds, then you start showing everywhere, and that not only shows to them, but it also shows to their friends and family, which is great. So, all right, well, hey guys, if you are watching. If you're watching and you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below, and we'll get those on air. And Dylan, if you'll stick around with us, we'll come back after the commercial break here.
Yeah,
from our sponsor,
I'm not going anywhere.
We'll see you guys right after the break.
Every client is unique and has different needs. Whether it's a growing family, a first-time buyer, an investor, or someone looking to downsize, I am here to help guide them through the process. My name is Todd Cartner. I am a realtor with Exit Coastal Real Estate Pros. I serve Myrtle Beach and the surrounding area, and there is no place I would rather have my family call home. You need a realtor you can trust and will put your needs first. I want to become your lifetime realtor. If you are looking to buy or sell real estate, please give me a call. I look forward to speaking with you soon.
All right, folks, welcome back to Myrtle Beach. What's that?
I'm impressed by that. I'm impressed by that commercial, my man. I love it.
Very much. I appreciate that. One of them's our sponsor. One is obviously me as the real estate agent. But guys, thank you for joining us here today. We're with Dylan Shinholser, who is with ViewStub. And if you have any questions during the show, please feel free to drop them in your comments below, and we'll be glad to answer those on air. Dylan, the way I understand it, ViewStub is as easy to use as going live on Facebook or YouTube. So just how it is to get with that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, our entire philosophy at ViewStub is how can we create an easy platform, right? So from creation of the event all the way to streaming. So we wanted to create a streaming platform that was as easy as what people are used to, right? And so we very much easily, seamlessly integrate in with platforms like a StreamYard, which we're using now, right? And we go in via an RTMP. So we provide you with the data that you have to input into your favorite encoder, whether or not that be hardware or software one like a StreamYard, and then you just go live, and it's as simple as that. So if you know how to take a StreamYard to ViewStub or a StreamYard to YouTube or Facebook or any one of those, right? That's as simple as we keep it. And then we even made it a little bit simpler outside of that, just for some added value to our platform, is we also have it natively now. So we have a native web conferencing feature that makes it literally like I can do it easier than ever to just stream live within a platform using your webcam, and just makes it easier. But at the end of the day, I still leverage and tell all my friends and all of our clients to use platforms like a StreamYard for all of the branding aspects and stuff that you get with platforms like this. But the question is, how is it as easy? And it's 100% easier. With what I might add is better overall quality.
Right. The one thing that I do like is StreamYard actually allows you to stream live directly from your website as well, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So ViewStub, we have a whole entire feature. What we call it is the white label solution. So you can actually embed our entire process on your website, from ticketing and monetization all the way to the hosting and the streaming of the actual event. So you can actually host that all on your website. There's no ViewStub logos, anything like that, because we at ViewStub 100% understand at a very deep level how much branding is important. And we get asked it all the time, where can I put my logos, right? Well, here, we'll just actually give you our entire process, our entire platform. You can put it on your own website, and you can customize it and brand it everything you would need. So, I mean, we want to be able to give our organizers and our event creators be able to put their brand first. That's who's important in this scenario, is your brand. Events are just vehicles of that brand. So we 100% implore people to be streaming their events on their websites. So we, of course, built a feature for it.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I know that before the break we talked about the different uses, whether you're streaming a conference or a sporting event, entertainment type event. But what are some specific cases that you have seen people use ViewStub? How did they use it, and how were they able to monetize off of that, other than just selling tickets type thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can actually break it down into all three of those segments. I mean, it started back in May. One of my favorite conferences that we've been able to do on the platform was an event called the Closers Olympics, and they just needed a way. They did not want to do another Zoom webinar. They wanted to do a branded experience on their website. They wanted to be able to stream 2 days of a cold calling competition. This was 12 of the nation's top real estate closers, and they went head to head to see who was the best. And it was a 2-day event. It was phenomenal. They had over 1,200 attendees. They pushed over $100,000 in revenue off this virtual event, and it cost them around $7,000 to do. So it was amazing how we were able to provide them with a tool and a platform that allowed them to make that kind of money. And then on top of that, not only did we give them that tool, because we were a streaming platform and stuff like that, we were able to not only do sponsorship revenue, but ad revenue and commercial revenue and stuff like that. So we've been able to help a lot of conferences after that too, but that's one that really sticks out. A sporting event that we've done super well is one of our clients is CISN. They did their entire baseball and softball season with us. They streamed all 99 of their games. They moved into football. We are now working with arena football leagues like the NAL and the CIF. So we're giving them their entire league is going pay-per-view. So they're just going to be able to collect more revenue for those diminished capacities that you mentioned earlier. And then on the entertainment side, I mean, we love entertainment. We love sports. So we do a lot of events with, let's say, a Miller Coors and one of their bands, Bonda MS. And that wasn't necessarily actually to monetize. Miller Coors understood the power of basically a virtual brand activation, and partnered up with Bonda MS, and they did a private concert for Bonda's fans, which in then turn created brand awareness for Miller Coors. So it's not always about, can I collect upfront revenue? It's, can I create a virtual experience that's maybe going to collect me revenue, but also continue to build and develop my brand. So we've done a lot of, and then of course we've done plenty of others out those, but those are the three that on those three event types really stick out to my head, or in my head.
And it's funny because that's kind of like the way my show is as well. It's not about branding me as a real estate agent. It's more about branding Myrtle Beach and what there is to offer, and bringing in people such as yourself and Dana and Kelsey to where people that are watching the show can help develop their own show as well. But you're right. In turn, it means me. So
exactly.
So another group of people that watch my show regularly, and not always live, but they come back and watch it later, is nonprofit organizations. So I think that's an important thing that they can use for live streaming, but also tie in ViewStub. So give us some examples of how a nonprofit could benefit.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, you're talking about an industry of nonprofit that has been devastated all year. All of our industries really have been hurt, but correct. I mean, you're talking about a nonprofit which feeds off people having extra money. And in a year where maybe that wasn't possible, their revenues are very low. And so we've been able to help several of them go online basically and still be able to collect virtual revenue, basically, as we call it, by putting on virtual experiences. So one that really comes to my mind is one we're in the process of working with them now, but their event's in December, but it's Operation Smile. So they're actually out of Virginia. But we're putting on a virtual experience with, keynote speakers, live performances, special guests, things like that. And they're going to be able to collect tens of thousands of dollars of revenue just off this one event. And in a year where that's crucial, it's been really fun. And we have certain features that we built just for nonprofits. It's been used by a lot of our other clients, but we have on the front end, we have our donation-based access. So our donation ticket can be utilized or in combination with a virtual ticket. But what we give you is the ability as the attendee, right? You can set a donation ticket and an attendee can actually choose what they would like to donate, right? In exchange for that access. So it gives the attendee the ability to donate, let's say a minimum of $5, but then they can donate 50 if they choose. And it really helps our nonprofit clients and our entertainment clients. Right. And then something we're actually about to launch, so I'll give you a little foreshadowing, is our virtual tip jar or a virtual donation button. So that'll be in stream. So once I collect their door fee, they pay $5 to get in the event. Well, then I have them where nonprofit, I'm doing, let's say a virtual concert. I have the ability now it'll be coming out here shortly, the ability to collect donations middle of the event. So in stream and everything like that. So we're giving a lot of tools just for nonprofits to be able to utilize and leverage. And then combined with our white label solution, if you use that properly, then you can start to brand your website. If you brand your website, you can obviously start to incorporate sponsorships and ad revenue, which then in turn just adds to the nonprofit's bottom line.
Right. So with the in-stream donation part, is that going to be a clickable button within the screen, or is that have to be like, how would you be able to do that?
Yeah, so that's going to be, so if we have when you enter into what we call our watch page, which is made up of a few things, you'll see the option. If they turn on that donation button, there will just be a button that will be able to collect donations for them right there. So it'll be all within one. It'll all be native to our platform within the watch page that you're seeing.
Well, I'm sure you're familiar with Ross Brand, and he's on show a few days ago, and that was something that was a huge topic that they were discussing, was being able to either buy something or donate button during your stream. So that's pretty cool. So we're about out of time here, but I did want to say, tell us just a little bit about when you buy that ticket, access code, right? How does that work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, our platform is built off access codes. So I would come to your website, purchase the ticket, and then once I get that ticket, it sends me an access code. So that access code is basically our form of security. So it's unique to the user. It's one at a time use. So you can't Netflix it out to your grandma, your cousin, and your third sister. That's not even a family member, but it is today.
Right.
So you would enter that access
Right.
code. So the cool thing about what we give you is the checkout box. You would input that access code on the day of, and it turns into the video player and the watch page automatically. So it's all hosted super clean on your website. So that access code is what gains that access for you.
Gotcha. So it's just like printing a ticket ahead of time, and then once you get to the show, it's redeeming that ticket. So it just keeps it simple. And
Yeah,
clean.
I mean,
I like
a big. You'll see us all day, every day. Keep it simple. And it, that access code is kind of like your virtual bouncer. I mean, it's going to keep people in and out. It's going to keep unwanted people out, and it's going to keep wanted people in.
Yeah, that's awesome, Dylan. Well, hey, thanks for joining us. Hold a second. Next week, I'm excited that we're going to have a local company here called Carolina Girls Pantry. We'll have Wendy Wilson with us, and Wendy is the CEO of that organization. And boy, they have some delicious food that we're going to talk about and what you can do with Carolina Girls Pantry there next week. And so, Dylan, once again, we appreciate you joining us, and I look forward to trying to tie in ViewStub myself. We have, as real estate, we have busy in October, and we're finalizing those closings here through the month of November. But it's slowed down a little bit, so I'm gonna probably reach out to you, and we'll talk a little bit maybe how we can incorporate some real estate background so that I can take advantage of ViewStub as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you having me on today. And I always get excited when people let me come on and ramble about, monetization or live streaming or events or anything like that. So appreciate you on that one. And yeah, just, you know where to find me. So.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us today. And we'll see you next Wednesday right here at 12:30 on your favorite social media channel. Here, have a